Testing. 1, 2, 3, test, test. This is just a test. Do not be afraid. We are just testing. Test, test, test. Thank you.
got to stand up strong. Ain't the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Merry Christmas. Merry, Merry Christmas. It's Christmas season. It's in the air. It's everywhere. Amazing. So we are uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. And Manhood Hour is coming up in the third hour today. Every Wednesday is Manhood Hour. Brand new biblical question for this week. Brand new biblical question. What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling? What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling? Amazing, huh? We have every way to watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And you can also listen to the show on your iPhone or iPad if you're busy, anywhere in the world. And we are heard around the world, Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday. And so if you're not able to sit and watch it as it's happening, no matter what you're doing, you can be listening on your iPhone or iPad. You can podcast all the shows, of course, but you can listen while you're doing what you're doing by calling the listen line at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. And follow us. Follow us, JLP Talk on X, and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. JLP Talk on X, and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. To donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, and rebuildingtheman.com just rebuildingtheman.com to donate and have your comments read out loud. All right. I want to encourage you to truly work, do what you want, but it's just an encouragement to become your own man, become your own woman. If you really, really, really want to be free and you want to have perfect peace right here on earth, while you live, not thinking about when you die, but while you live, you must be willing to become an individual. This is one thing, you're never going to have perfect peace as long as you got to have another person or a crowd with you. This is one time you have to stand alone. Isn't that amazing? There's no other choice. You can't join a crowd on this path. And yet, it's so beautiful. It's like, it's It's fun working on yourself. It's deep. It's beautiful. It's a path that you will not regret taking alone. Traveling by yourself. Only weak people find a false sense of security in a group. That's why most people join groups and they identify with the group because they're weak and they're afraid and they are looking for comfort from the outside. Isn't that amazing? But this journey alone will free you up from the world. It really, and it'll free you up from your false self. Nothing else is going to work but that. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to hang out with folks sometimes. You're not going to deal with the social aspect of life, but you will not get this false identity from it anymore. You'll be able to take it or leave it. If you're out being social for a minute, an hour or two, it's just a social gathering. And when it's over. But you will still be you instead of identify with it and leaving there another victim, another person. I have never seen in my whole life, as I've seen the last 30-something years, where people are so weak, men and women. And men have it as bad as the women. I understand why. But they're so weak, they cannot stand alone. Where in the good old days, that's all I saw for the most part. We were taught that by example, and we were told to be that way. If somebody don't want to hang out, fine. Somebody don't like you, fine. That's their hell. It has nothing to do with you. And don't be afraid to travel the road alone. If that was instilled in you while growing up, it would be so commonplace, it wouldn't even be funny. And then the weak people would be like, something wrong with you. You don't care. You don't do this. And they're trying to draw you back into the hell that they're in, but you won't go back into that hell. And still you will have an amazing life. You'll enjoy the world, meaning that social life, you'll go shopping, dinner, whatever you do. But you'll also be able to stand alone. God loves us, and He made it that way, but you don't know the inner world. All you know is the outer world. Even people who pretend to know God, who pretend to either meditate or observe or read the Bible, they don't really have it. They have it intellectually, but they don't have it spiritually, and you can see their reaction to the world. Their judgment of themselves and others, their fear and guilt and whatever. It's crazy. They have no love. Another thing I've noticed is that I've heard it, especially since doing radio and stuff. I didn't hear a lot of this growing up. I honestly didn't. I don't need to say I honestly didn't, but I didn't. But over to doing, one time I did total radio, I did TV, I did all the way down. We're doing this YouTube stuff. But I never knew. I just started hearing when I got into media that the Jews control everything and that people are afraid to disagree with the Jews because they are afraid of losing something because the Jews, they say, control everything, the media and everything. And so I've been observing that, and I've been looking at people who have spoke out against the Jews and see what they go through. But I didn't see it differently than what I see when the whites disagree with the blacks and the blacks disagree with the Mexicans and the Jews and Arabs fight one another. It looked like the same thing to me. You know what I'm saying? You'll be attacked. The one group going to attack the next group if you disagree. And so I didn't see any difference. And lo and behold, now you might want to tell me, hey, Jesse, no, that's not true, or you're seeing it wrong. I understand. But I'm looking at what's happening right now with this war between Israel and Palestine, and then all over the country. And it seemed to be all over the world, but especially over this country, my country, put America first. There are, every day it seems, there is a rally, a march, or fights or something about the fight between the Palestinians and the Jews, right? And the people on the Palestinian side seem to be getting more support from the liberal media and these so-called professors and these universities. And these people don't seem to be afraid to be supporting the Palestinians or Palestine. And if the Jews control everything, why is it that these people are not afraid? And why do they still have their jobs and all that? Why? I've really been paying attention, and I see more and more school teachers and principals of these schools and people who control the school, they standing with the Palestinians, and they are speaking out against Israel, but they're not losing their jobs. For an example, there was a hearing in Washington, D.C., I guess, with one of those government committees, and one of the school representatives was from Harvard, I believe. Now, forgive me if I don't remember the name of the schools. I'm going off memory here. It was Harvard. It was a school called IT. I believe it's called IT. And another one of those major white academics. I mean, those schools that used to be really smart before the white people allowed the colors to be a part of it. MIT, yeah. Thank you. MIT, Harvard, I believe, and another one of those major white schools. So they were meeting with this government committee about the attack upon the Jews and the attack and the support for Palestine. And all three of these women, those ladies that were there representing the schools, were the heads of the schools, of the university. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know women had taken over the universities like that. They are now the president of the university, not the men, but they are the president of MIT and Harvard. And I'm like, no wonder everything falling apart. What the? They have women running these schools now. And there was one black woman from either Harvard or one of those kinds of schools. And they were questioning her about, and I'm paraphrasing, why are you allowing the Jews to be attacked and nothing is being said or done? The kids are not being protected, the Jewish kids. And why are you allowing it? And this little black female with no hair on her head, by the way, she had a haircut like a boy. She was saying, well, I'm being fair and balanced, or whatever she was saying was dumb. And the woman that was questioning her, the politician woman, like, no, answer the question. I asked you a question. Is it right? Well, answer yes or no. And then the woman wouldn't answer the question. And so the government officials asked her, if that was happening to the blacks, would you be responding the same way? If they were attacking the blacks and chanting and carrying on about the blacks, would you respond the same way? It was so interesting. But my whole thing with it, I've been told over and over again over the last years or so, and especially recently, that the Jews own everything. Now, somebody lying somewhere about something, because if the Jews own everything, and it's clear, well, I've heard over and over again, that a lot of Jews donate a lot of money to those universities, why they're not firing these female so-called presidents of these schools for not standing for Israel. Amazing. They're not firing them. And then I heard of a report up in Oakland, California, I believe it was Oakland, that one of the teachers up there, or some of the teachers supported Palestine over Israel. And they said, according to the report, and again I'm paraphrasing, I don't care, we're protected by the union. So I want to know, am I seeing this wrong? Because I've been told that the Jews control everything, and you can't speak out against the Jews. Well, a whole lot of people speaking out against the Jews now, and a lot of Jewish kids in the university said they're afraid to even walk on the campuses. They're afraid to show their faces. They're afraid to let it be known that they are Jews because they're so under attack. Nobody getting fired. Uh-huh. It reminds me of when they be yelling and screaming white supremacy country, but yet the blacks are destroying the country. They're terrorizing people in the streets and everywhere. But it's a white supremacist country. Same thing that they were saying about the Jew, ain't nobody getting fired, and they were saying about white people, but it's the blacks that bring on the problems. How come y'all don't see something wrong here? Something is wrong. And we saw that when the Black Lives Matter riot happened and the blacks were beating up the white supremacists. Anybody said nothing. So it's something, there are lies in there somewhere. And every group, it seems, is fighting with another group. Every group is fighting. Well, that's the way of the world, though. That's what God wants you to overcome. Stop identifying with groups. Stop identifying with anything, and then you can lay your weapon down and let everybody else fight. Yesterday, we did two brand new episodes of the Father State shows, and that reminded me. I thought we had a brand new episode of the Father State. I guess not, and one of the people I interviewed is a Jewish guy out of the UK. And I ask about these kind of things. And it was interesting, his responses to it. And he was like one of those Jewish guys over in the UK that's out there fighting with the Palestinians and what did he call the white people? The something. I don't know what that word is. What the? But it's interesting to pay attention. All groups are fighting against another group. I don't care what color they are, male or female, how much money they have or don't have, where they live or don't live. Somebody's fighting against somebody. And they call it normal. It's mind-blowing to me. It's so interesting to me in so many ways. It's very interesting. I think the most interesting part about this whole deal is that once you take sides, you go blind, and you're just on your side, no matter what. And you're not going to see that everybody's fighting. Everybody fighting somebody, in countries where they have the same folks. Like in Mommy Africa, there are parts of Africa where, at least it used to be, where just blacks, ain't nobody else around. And so they fight one another. The Hutu fight the Zulu. The Nelson Mandela group fight against another group. And then a certain kind of Jews fight against another kind of Jew. Whites fight against another kind of white. Blacks fight against another kind of black. Everybody fight because they're in a fallen state. Their hearts are evil. They have no love. They have no love. And yet they can't see what's going on. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And you take sides. How blind can you be? And you take sides and you end up destroying your own life. And nobody cares. The world still goes on. But you've been out there rallying, marching, and tearing down things, ended up in jail, and they'll leave you in jail and go on to the next one. And now you got to, if you ever get out of jail, you got to start your whole life over. But you took sides, and you rallied, and you marched, and you fought, and you felt so good about it. You got the thrill of it, but now you're stuck, and nobody cares about you. Look what happened during the Black Lives Matter riot. They fought with white folks. They accused the whites. They burned down buildings. And the dumb blacks joined forces with them and the dumb white liberals. And maybe some conservative whites joined forces with them, and they destroyed America. And when the smoke settled, they ended up with, according to the report, the money, and everybody still ended up in their same old hole, their same old mess. Their life got better, period. Not at all. And the smoke settled, the Black Lives Matter so-called leadership ended up with the money, according to the report. Everybody else still in the same old mess. But you had the thrill of out there burning and fighting and robbing and killing and blaming. And they didn't come back to help you. They didn't say, you know what? You can live in one of these mansions that we just bought. Oh, but you had the thrill of fighting. There are even some people said they're fighting the Jews over Jesus. They killed Jesus. And so I'm mad at the Jews for killing Jesus. Can't get any dumber than that. Jesus ain't mad at the Jews for killing Jesus, and it wasn't the Jews anyway. It was the Jews, so-called preachers, or whatever they call those people, that led Jesus to the government over there, and the government killed him, along with the preachers, the Jewish preachers. But do you think Jesus is missing 1 ounce of sleep thinking about or caring that he was killed? He was supposed to be killed. That was the whole purpose. His Father sent him here to this earth so that he could be killed, dummies, so that you might be free. And you're mad about it? Come on, man. I don't even like quoting Joe Biden. But so I was saying, what you mad about the man being killed and he was supposed to be? He knew it. His father knew it. Had he not been killed, you'd still be in your hell, which you are already, and wouldn't have no way out. But he was killed because he needed to buy you back, dummies. You needed to be paid for, and he paid Satan for you. And he set you free. Had that not happened, you ain't no way out. You'll just be in hell, and that's it. Even though most people are in hell, and that's it. They don't care about coming out. But, why are you going to be mad at the Jews for killing Jesus? That's so dumb. Make me want to smoke a cigarette, and I ain't never smoked before. I tried it one time, it was awful when I was a kid, and I never tried it again. But just think about that. An incident that was supposed to happen, it was set up to happen, It needed to happen and a great purpose, and you mad about it? They call it the synagogue. What y'all call it? Synagogue of Satan?
Synagogue of Satan.
Ain't that crazy? It just feels good saying it and being mad about it. It was, listen, all you folks who think you're mad that the Jews were killing Jesus, it was supposed to happen. God knew it was going to happen when he decided to send his son here. It was for that purpose. Don't be mad about it. Don't be sad about it. It was supposed to happen. Dummies. And your synagogue of Satan is inside of you. Because anyone that's mad about that, you know you got to be in hell. Amazing stuff. Human nature is wicked. I heard some stupid female say, or reporter say that, oh, the average person is nice. Human nature is nice. I'm like, you lying. Human nature is evil. That's why you must be born again, because it is evil. Look at all the hell on earth. If human nature was nice and not evil, you think the hell you see on earth would be happening and it getting worse? I'm telling you, you got to pull away from the crowd. And so now they're coming up with new video games. My producer was telling me about this morning. I remember the Anchor Baby and I played the video game, and we'll show you that in a minute. It was fun. It was for the thrill of it. But I can't pull myself to just set up a game and play it. It doesn't seem adult-like for some reason. And it's just me. I know a lot of grown men are playing games now. And they spend their whole day in front of the machine playing games. Well, I want to know, should men play video games? Grandpa tell me about the good old days. Should men play video games? This is from Wikipedia and Statista. Hey, so Statista. Wikipedia and Statista. As of March 2023, 51% of U.S. video gaming audience were male. 51% of U.S. video gaming audience were male. The average age of a U.S. gamer is 35 years old. And the average number of years a U.S. gamer has been playing is 13 years. What happens in the rest of your life? You're spending 13 years playing games? That's like a drug. Oh, that's what it is, because when you're playing, you forget to remember. And it feels like a drug, and that thrill of it, that feeling that comes from it. And so you get stuck, just like you do with fentanyl and everything else. I got it now. What the? All for the thrill of it. Anything to forget to pay attention to what's going on inside of you. 888-775-3773. A quick break. Your phone calls and super chats and the rest of the video stuff right after the break. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father, and you'll see within you, he will fight the battle for you. And he will fight it without, because he will show you how to deal with it, and you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, he will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality. So the men's forum tomorrow at 7 p.m. if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. And it's the last men's forum for this year. Every first Thursday night for men only. It's going to be a hoot nanny. You don't want to miss it. And ladies, get ready for the last women's forum for this year. The third Thursday of this month, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, at 7 p.m. And check out our merch. It's Christmas season, and people out there buying gifts, they're going to love the merch from rebuildingtheman.com/store. Tote bag with amazing messages. Tote bags and T-shirts and hoodies and just fun stuff. We have a brand new T-shirt where it says, "A life without thoughts, without thinking, is an amazing life." Amazing, huh? So check out, and my books will make for amazing gifts. The Great White Hope T-shirt, From Rage to Responsibility, my first book. Scam, How the Black Leadership Exploits Black America. The 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success. We're having them reprinted. We ran out. But you still can get that one, the 7 Guaranteed Steps. A little pocket guide. It's available on Kindle, an audiobook. Go to rebuildingtheman.com/store and click on the link there in Amazon.com to get that particular one. It should be, the print copy should be ready soon. And then the antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. Amazing, huh? And yes, I will sign them. Go to rebuildingtheman.com to order it. rebuildingtheman.com/store, or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663. And this is the year end. It's time to make donations for tax write-offs, if nothing else. We are a nonprofit. You get a tax write-off if you donate to Bond. And so a lot of you are starting to do it. I thank you. And you get it back. Isn't that amazing? So go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com for your tax-deductible donation, or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663. And last but not least, our newsletter, our final year-end newsletter is going out soon. If you want to get a paper copy of it at no cost, go to rebuildingtheman.com and give a mailing address, P.O. Box or home address, or call 800-411-2663. 800-411 to get on the mailing list. All right? Let me just finish up with this game thing, brand new games, video games. And I ask, should men play video games? When we were growing up, and I used that, and I just talked to Hassan, and he didn't get into the video games either, because when he was growing up, he would rather be outside. And that's how it was when I was growing up. We would rather either be outside playing or doing something else, hunting or fishing or something, right? So we didn't sit in the house. I guess they weren't even making video games back then. But we didn't sit in the house all day on video games until we were 30 and 40 years old. 30 and 40 years old, right? But according to Wikipedia, it's statista. As of March 2023, 51% of U.S. video gamers' audience were males. Man, y'all need to return to the Father. Come back home. The world needs you. The average age of a U.S. gamer is 35, and the average number of years a U.S. gamer has been playing is 13 years. Can you imagine spending 13 years of your life playing games? That's like being on drugs, I guess, 13 years. Some people spend longer than that on drugs. Everybody them mama on drugs, except baby Jessica's daddy. So I guess everybody them mama playing games, except baby Jessica's daddy. There's a game called Grand Theft Auto 6. And so I asked, what is that? Sean, my producer, he's like, that's the new game coming out. It's just number 6 of the game, I guess, of generation of gamers that they already had. Games they already had. Wikipedia and the Daily Mail. Grand Theft Auto, a series of action-adventure games, has grown to become a blockbuster behemoth enjoyed by millions and defining a generation of gamers. Critics have accused the series of glorifying violence and encouraging players to engage in criminal behavior. Watch this compilation.
As with earlier versions of the game, it is extremely violent.
I'm here for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Grand Theft Auto 5 allows video game players to assume the role of gangsters, committing almost any crime imaginable. Bank robberies, car thefts, often murder.
When you're all these characters who are just insane criminals who rob banks and steal cars, it's just like a fun experience and it gives you a rush.
I want them to know that I don't like it, but I guess I do let them play because all their friends are playing.
But critics have complained about the violence.
We're seeing cases of kids emulating these games because the games are so realistic. They want the sensation of the real experience in real life.
The young man stole a car and went on a spree straight out of Grand Theft Auto.
Zachary had stated to officers he had been playing the video game Grand Theft Auto and wanted to see if it was as fun in real life.
Last year in Albuquerque, an 11-year-old boy, allegedly inspired by Grand Theft Auto, stole his family's car. He could barely see over the wheel.
It's a product that's so dangerous that it should have never been on the shelf in the very first place.
You can't blame the game. You blame the one that buy the game. So I blame the parent for buying the game.
Right, that's the only one made sense in that whole segment. It's not the game. It's the parents who buy the games, and it's the adults who play the games. And it's interesting is how everything is blamed on the outer source rather than the inner source. But it's just another drug called game. It's no different. It's no different than being addicted to medication. There are people who are addicted to medication, and they blame the doctor. yes, the doctor will give you the medication until the cows come home, but they don't make you show up at the office or at the drugstore and get it. They don't make you order to have it delivered to your home. When will you take responsibility? Become an individual. And you can always tell weak people, they're always blaming someone else for what their actions or what they think or feel because they're weak. But it's just another drug I see now. CNN, a trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6, the next installment of the widely popular and violent game franchise, has been released. Watch this from Rocket Star Games. This is look like the real thing. And these are like real incidents that happened. Some of y'all might remember some of these stories. For those that are not watching, you're listening, they're showing real incidents. Spring break, a woman with 2 hammers. Remember that? The tattoo man. Amazing. Low key looks fire, LL. What a mess. It's all about the money. And this is how the world treat one another. The people making the games, you can't blame them. They're making money. You're buying the games. You can't blame them for that. They didn't make you give them the money for the game that addicted you for 13 years. And now they're making their they're using real incidents, real happening to create this game. It's going to addict a lot of people to it. The Daily Mail is reporting that, and those were real incidents. And some of them we reported on in this show. Daily Mail, the games appear to feature cameos from some infamous real-life characters. A woman banishing 2 hammers. Oh, did we just play this? No, okay. A woman banishing 2 hammers, and a Florida man double the Joker. We just played those. We just saw those. Oh, these are the real life clips. Thank you, guys. Okay. So let's see here. In Daily Mail, the game appears to feature cameos from some infamous real life characters. A woman banishing 2 hammers, and a Florida man dubbed the Joker for his facial tattoos. Watch this compilation.
Can you imagine finding this in your backyard? The trapper came out, and it took him about 20 minutes to remove the reptile.
And I got you on video that you're destroying my car.
Out of the snake.
Oh, this is Mr. Sullivan?
I remember that.
Good morning, Mr. Sullivan. You're charged with 1 count of carrying. You don't have a lawyer.
I didn't even feel like signing the paperwork. I'm really not in the mood for that.
You guys running naked. Holy. Oh my God.
Gunfire erupted Friday night. Outside, restaurants packed with customers on busy Ocean Drive.
Or you face a fine up to $1,000 and a misdemeanor charge. It gets upgraded to a felony if convicted again within 2 years.
As shown in videos all over YouTube. New York, Miami, New Orleans, Boston, where these guys flee when cops swarm in, abandoning their dirt bikes right on the highway.
Amazing. I remember reporting on some of these things. That is crazy. But they're doing whatever it takes to addict you so they can make the money and you have the problem. When will you take control of your own life? Those were real life incidents. I remember that. I remember once the anchor baby helped me play the game. It was fun. But as soon as I stopped playing, I didn't have the great urge to run back into it, right? Here's a clip from when I played the game. JLP plays. This is from JLP plays. Watch this.
We're going to play a highly requested game today. They want you to play Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
Ooh, I'm black. That's good.
Pick a car. Which one do you want? Here, I'll move the camera. You want the white one or the red one?
The red one.
Oh, nice.
You know black gonna pick red. Hold it. What?
You don't want to crash into anything.
Right. I shouldn't mind.
Huh?
I shouldn't mind. Get out of the way.
You're doing good. Oh, shit.
Sorry.
Take a left.
That's funny. Seeing Dock of the Bay. Amazing. So it's easy if you're not in control of your life, if you're not aware of what's happening inside of you, it's easy to become addicted to anything outside of you. So these new games are coming out. Get ready, Auto Theft 6, people. You're going to be sitting in front of the TV for another 13 years as the world go by. As the world goes round. And to the flat earthers, as the world go up and down. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Philip, a first-time caller out of Germany. Around the world. Philip, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, JLP Peterson.
Hey, hey, Philip.
Hey. Yeah, thank you so much that I come in the line. I was not really expecting that, but now it's amazing.
Amazing.
Yes. So, yeah, I got a question. So I was speaking with some friends about the topic, is Jesus God? And I say he's the Son of God. And I had a question that they come always with, in the beginning was the Word. And maybe you can explain this a little bit.
About what does that mean in the beginning? What's the Word?
Yes, because they come every time that in the beginning was the Word and the Word was God. And so we know that they think about this, that it says Jesus is God. And I have not really an explanation for that. Yeah. So
well, in the beginning, it just means God has always been around. He's always been there. Yes. And he sent his Son with his Spirit inside the Son to bring that truth to us so that we might find our way back to the truth. But God has always been around from the beginning and always and forever. Amen.
Amen. Yes. Yes, because it's for me also not that Jesus is God, and they put like said some things with logos and everything, and says Jesus is the Word, and then it sounds like the Word was God, so they say Jesus is God, and it's actually more confusing for me. But when we sometimes a little bit talk about this, I have not really an answer what is meaning with this verse, you know.
Right. Well, just know when you're confused, you can't see, and the person that's telling you can't see, right? And so just relax, and you continue to seek the kingdom, and it will become clear because they're not telling you the truth about it. They're just telling you the intellectual part of it. And the people who believe that Jesus is God, they're stuck in the intellect, and they have no wisdom, and they're stuck And that's why they're teaching you, because they can't see what they're talking about. It's only intellectual, and they have not omitted the intellect.
Yes. Yes.
Have you forgiven your mother?
I told her that I forgave her. Yes. I know you a long time. A good friend of me from Cameroon showed me your podcast and your show. I really like you, and yeah, I sometimes I repeat that I forgave her. So I told her that I forgave her for put her will on my, so that I have to do some kind of jobs what she likes and what I don't want to do. And my father said he don't protect me from that. And I was very angry. I was very angry on her. But then I saw you and your show, and I understand that I was angry because, yeah, she put it on me, and my father was not there. So I was one day I was like collecting myself when I was telling her about this, and she don't even seems she was not even interested in that.
And that's fine. That's on her. Let her stay in her hell. And you forgave her, and God forgave you. You'll be fine. So just continue to work on you. And whenever you see those thoughts and feel the spirit of anger, just know it's not you. Don't identify with it, and it will become weaker and weaker and weaker, and it will have to depart from you.
Yes. Do you think when I forgave my parents that they still come back this feeling or these emotions of anger?
Yeah.
If I forgive.
It'll come only because now you have to die from the old nature, that nature of thinking and feeling, right? And so you're still going to believe those thoughts sometimes. And when you believe those thoughts, you get those feeling of anger or whatever. But just know it's not you. And the reason you're able to see it now is because you have forgiven, and the light of God is allowing you to see the false identities inside of you. And just don't call them you. Don't identify with it. Don't have a conversation with it. Just let it pass, and you'll be fine.
Yes. It's totally what you say, 100%. And it's also what maybe a point to this is that I also recognized that I was also searching identities, like in football stars or in musician stars. I want to be like them, and it's because I lost myself in the anger,
Yeah. Well, now you're awake. All those things, all those false identities will disappear. So just continue to work on yourself by watching the thoughts. That's all you need to do is watch the thoughts. Do nothing else about it, and you'll be fine. You're on your way.
Thank you, yes.
And thanks for your call, Philip. Call me again, buddy.
Yeah, and I want to also give you a little shout out. So thank you so much for your work. When I was, I'm now 30. And when
Hold on, Philip. I'm sorry. Hold on, buddy. Let me take a break. Don't hang up. Back in a moment. Hate news, not the fake news. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature.
A whole lot of mess going on in the world. So much for global warming. No, it's real. And floods went through the Pacific Northwest, swept away at least one. This is the end of hour one of the JLP Peterson Show. It is Wednesday, December 6th, 2023 AD. Stay tuned for hour two. JLP will be right back to your calls. There is one line open. But first, Hake News, not fake news. You can call in right now during the Hake News, not fake news. Men's Forum is tomorrow night, guys, for men only. Guys only, rebuildingtheman.com/events, or you can call the Bond office after the JLP Peterson Show, or right now and leave a message. 323-782-1980, 323-782-1980. If you happen to need any info, Women's Forum's are third Thursday of the month, Men's Forum's first Thursday. Commie Nonsense Network CNN reports snowstorms are bearing down on parts of the United States weeks before the official start of winter, which falls on December 1st in the northern hemisphere. Explain that, flat earthers. But on the heels of several scorching months, scientists confirm that 2023 will still officially be the hottest year on record. And they haven't been keeping records all that long. Floods, too. Around 16 million people were under flood alerts in the Pacific Northwest on Tuesday night as strong atmospheric river soaked the region. In Portland, Oregon, at least one person died after being swept away in floodwaters. Should have listened to Hake News. I was warning you guys about this stuff yesterday. The powerful storm system pummeled the Northwest, has dumped more than 8 inches this week. And of rain this week. And forecasts show more is on the way. An additional 2 to 4 inches is possible today. The treacherous travel conditions also prompted Amtrak temporarily to suspend all train service. Amtrak is kind of lame sometimes. I took Amtrak from LA all the way up to like Portland area. My goodness. It took forever. Portland and Seattle due to a landslide. Suspect in custody following Texas shootings. Did you guys hear about this? I hadn't even heard about this. CNN reports a suspect is in custody after a string of homicides. Also some perhaps murders and shootings across 2 Texas communities on Tuesday left 6 people dead, 3 others injured, including 2 police officers. So said authorities. The male suspect has been charged with capital murder, and additional charges are pending. War welfare drying up? This is good news. Here's a quote shared by Commie Nonsense Network. "We are out of money and nearly out of time." That's at the Black on the Inside White House Budget Director Shalanda Young. Warning, as she said, warning that the U.S. will soon be out of money for Ukraine as funding talks remain stalled on Capitol Hill. This comes as Senate Republicans are insisting on making Ukraine funding part of a broader spending package to include money for Israel, Taiwan, and the U.S. southern border. How about just the border? But I guess we can't make a deal like that, unfortunately. Panera. Watch out for Panera Bread. They were hit with another lawsuit over caffeinated lemonade. The chain's caffeinated lemonade. Have you even heard of this before? I hadn't. According to Commie Nonsense Network, has allegedly caused some cardiac events, according to at least 2 lawsuits against the company. That's wild. A Barbie doll is commemorating a late Cherokee Nation leader woman, and it's sparking a debate. A new Barbie doll, according to CNN, Commie Nonsense Network, honors the pioneering Cherokee Chief Wilma Mankiller. It's prompting some woman word alert, complicated feelings. Of course, the doll's basket isn't woven in the traditional Cherokee pattern. She doesn't have her signature jewelry. She's dead anyway. Clay bead necklaces. She was one of the first to wear a gorget publicly. That's like the half moon looking thing. And they consulted her husband and friend, but not her surviving daughter who's got sour grapes. Clinton gave her a Presidential Medal of Freedom. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 2.
to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show today. Manhood Hour is coming up in the third hour. You can get involved. There is one line open now at 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. And if you're busy anywhere in the world, and we are heard around the world by everybody and their mama. And so if you're busy and you want to listen to the show as it's happening, you can. And you can also podcast by going to, on your iPhone or iPad, by calling the listen line on TalkStream Live at 641-793-1500. That's 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us on rumble.com. Rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson and Instagram, Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. Like, follow, ring the bell, and blah, blah, blah. Subscribe. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, baby. You sure been good to me. Amazing. And also to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com, buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, or rebuildingtheman.com. My brand new biblical question for this week. What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling? What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling? Amazing, huh? So let me go back to Philip. I put him on hold there, ran out of time. He had another. Philip is the first time call out of Germany. He went and forgave his mother, and he had a question about Jesus being God or not, and blah, blah, blah. But Philip, you were about to make another statement just before the conversation ended there. Go ahead.
Yes. So, yes, what I want to say is that it's really amazing that you guys doing this. It was actually my last words what I want to give, and it's actually so interesting when you can see you don't need like a fake identity, like in stars, in musicians, or even go in some kind of places where you think it's important to go, you know.
Absolutely, man. That's deep. Yes. Absolutely.
So a lot of people go in need to go to Paris or need to go in this mountain that they feel something, and it's actually interesting. You don't need anything actually.
Yeah.
If you can see.
It's amazing how waking up causes you to overcome the world.
Yes. And I want to say also the last word. So I said thank you to your producer and to the Anchor Baby and to Hake and everyone, especially to you, Jesse, because it's really like a light in the whole mess. What are you doing? And I say from Germany, thank you to you all, guys.
Right on, man. I appreciate that. And thank you from everybody on this end.
Yes. Okay.
All right, buddy. Nice. Call me again.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye now. It's the same problem around the world. God said, everyone who wants to be free, who want perfect peace on earth, who want to enter into the kingdom of heaven within, you must be born again. You must return to the Father. Everyone who is born of the woman, whether you like it or not, and this is male or female, whether you like it or not, know it or not, accept it or not, believe it or not, it's up to you. But you ain't gonna never be free of fear, loneliness, depression, whatever, doubt until you are born of the Father. You must return to the Father, every human being. Because when you're born through the woman, you're born in hell. When you're born of the Father, you're born in heaven. So you can stay in your hell, or you can come out of your hell. It's totally up to you. And believe me, it ain't got nothing to do with money, color, male or female, where you live, who you hang out with, who you don't hang out with, blah, 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 what kind of work you have. It ain't none of that. All that stuff is secondary. And none of those things would cause you to return to the Father, and none of those things would cause you to have perfect peace. Isn't that amazing? Some of you know I do counseling, and busy schedule of counseling too now, and it with all kinds of people. Oh, I understand why Christ was able to go amongst the world, amongst the people, and help them, because he had no judgment of them. Zero. Because he understood it wasn't them, it was the spirit of evil made them home in their mind and emotion. And it had nothing to do with the real person. So he didn't judge them like y'all do, because you can't see. I've counseled with people that go, all evil though. It wasn't them. It's all evil. And they had guilt and everything, thinking that it was them. Think about this. You would not make yourself do something, or cause yourself to do something, or encourage yourself to do something, or think a certain way, or feel a certain way that would bring pain upon you. Dummy, if you were in control of that, you would always make yourself feel good. Now, you might inflict pain on somebody else if you were in control, but at least for yourself, you make yourself feel good 24 hours a day, 365 days in a year. I got the same old loving baby, and all I want to do is share my love with you. But you wouldn't do it to yourself. Why don't you think about that? Why am I doing this to myself? But no, you take credit for that too. Worshiping the devil. 888-7753. 773-888-77-JESSE. Let me go to Illinois and talk to Alex. Alex, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you, Jesse. How are you?
All is well. How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Good.
I wanted to talk about what's going on with Israel and Palestine.
Yes.
And maybe, who should be held accountable for all of this mess that's going on right now. I did a little bit of research of my own to kind of get a better understanding, and I came to the conclusion that Muslims are being used as a type of scapegoat, just like the Jews were in Europe a long time ago. So the Jews were expelled from Europe, right, after the Europeans figured out, like, hey, we're signing away all of our homes and paying these Jews all this money for armor and shields and weapons and all sorts of stuff, right? And when the Europeans figured out, like, hey, they're sending us to a sure death by the Muslims, they expelled the Jews from Europe, right? Well, now they're Muslims in Europe, and there are hardly any Jews in Europe anymore, right? So they didn't fail at what their whole goal was, which was to create Israel. And now they're just using the Muslims as a scapegoat against targeting the Christians. And I wanted to ask you what you think about that. Do you see it as history repeating itself?
When you live in the darkness of your imagination and you worship your imagination, you can't help but repeat yourself. You always repeating yourself because you're living in darkness, and everything you think and do and see, it's the same thing. Even though the darkness try to make it look different, it's the same. And then who I blame for what's happening with the Jews and the Palestinians, I blame the adults who are participating in it, and then I blame the government because the government is doing it on both sides. They're doing it for money and perceived power, but yet they use outside excuses to do it. And then the blind people who are out hating one another and protesting and yelling at each other, I blame them because they're being controlled by evil too. And what they're doing is doing no good for the war itself. It's just encouraging it even more so, but it's not helping on either side. So I blame the individual.
Yeah, as I see it too. I really do. American Islamophobia has really gone to a huge rise. And yeah, it's being used as an excuse, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's all evil, and that's the way of the world, and that's why God wants us. He will cause us, when you wake up and return to the kingdom within, He will cause you to be in the world, but not of it. You won't be a part of what's happening around you. You will not be afraid of it. You will see it for what it is, and it's just pure hell operating through human beings.
Do you believe that's a sort of fate? Do you think that the conflicts and behavior of governments are inevitable historical fate?
You say fake?
Fate, like fate, it's fate.
Oh, I don't know what you mean by fate, but it's evil for sure. The government has always been evil because the government has always been and shall always be for self. And all they want,
self-interested, yeah.
And all they want is power and wealth. They don't care about anything else but that. They can care less about anyone except for themselves. And that's why it's best to have a government where we, the people, are in control of the government. But the governments are in control of the people nowadays around the world.
But if we, the people, are under their spell and we don't have a remedy for it because we're being, led the wrong way, don't we, the people, end up making a bad situation even worse?
Absolutely, but you don't have to be under the spell or subject to the government if you should overcome the world by living from within. Then you will no longer be subject to the government.
Okay, that makes sense.
You can literally, I promise you, Alex, you can literally live in this world and not be subject to the world. What are you doing?
Who, me?
Who making all that noise?
My dog.
Who let the dogs out?
What dog? He's about to go. He's about to go. Thank you, Jesse. I wanted to put that in perspective.
Yeah, but
I really am not taking sides. I don't hate any Muslims. I don't hate any Jews. I just kind of wanted to follow their history, just have a better understanding for myself.
And you're right in that quote-unquote history piece and stuff. That's because human beings are living in hell and they're just repeating themselves. They're just repeating the hell. So, but it doesn't, if you're not a part of the hell, then there's no such thing as history repeating itself in you. It would be happening in others in the world, but it wouldn't be happening inside of you. You will stop repeating, because your old nature will die, you will stop repeating yourself.
Okay. All right.
Are you doing the silent prayer, Alex?
I do the silent prayer, absolutely.
Every morning, every night?
I do, every morning, every night.
Stay with
Sometimes 3 times a day.
Right on. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of keep my mind.
Yep, stay
clear.
present. Stay present, stay present. Amazing call, Alice. Thank you.
Have a great day, Dusty.
All right, you
Take
too.
care.
All right.
Amazing.
Amazing. 888-775-3773. There's one line open. Danny from Bulgaria. Danny, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good day, Mr. Peterson. I hope you're doing well, sir.
All is well.
Glad to hear. Mr. Peterson, I'm calling because you often say that you turn into what you hate. And that didn't make any sense to me. I was wondering what this man is trying to say. I wanted to call you and ask you, but I decided not to, because you often say that people should know for themselves, not to ask or listen to anyone. And I decided to see for myself. You're absolutely right. And I believe that this is my view. Of course, I wanted to tell you my view and to hear your views on it as well. I believe people turn into what they hate because if you hate something or somebody, you're trying to do the opposite, but you're still in the world of hatred, in the realm of hatred. You've noticed how people talk about Hitler and Stalin and how horrible they were and how they hate them, and they end up doing the same thing they did, and that's because they hate them. And although you're distancing yourself from the things you hate, they still linger in your mind. They're still at the back of your head. And that's the same evil that lived in those people before. The same evil lives in the people today. And I believe that this is why you turn into what you hate. And I believe that this is why the only way not to hate is to love, which means, not to hate. And therefore, it's inevitable. You're always going to turn into what you hate. So this is my view, but I wanted to hear what you think about it. Do you think I'm right about this?
Well, one thing for sure, when we were born through the woman, we end up hating the woman, our mothers and grandmothers, whomever raised us. And once you resent them, you become angry at them. And once you become angry, you lose your innocence, which is your relationship you had with the Father, with God, and with your earthly father. And you take on the psychological mentality of your mother, which is of the devil. And because you became angry, and in that very moment, you start to judge. You're playing God. You're judging yourself. You're judging others. You judge this. You judge that. And because the moment you became angry at your mother, the moment you became like her. Men and women are just like their mothers until they are born of the Father. It's the spirit of you. Take on the same spirit as in your mother is now in you.
I agree, and I'm glad you said that because I've noticed something else, Mr. Peterson. Every single time when I was judging someone, I was basically worse than the person I was judging.
Absolutely.
I was trying to have a different behavior. I was trying to be different. I wanted to, but I ended up making the situation even worse than the person I was judging. And I noticed something else. Those that were judging me made it even worse than what I did.
Well, the reason... That's a good point.
I'm terribly sorry. Go on, please.
No, finish your point.
And when they were judging me, they messed up even worse in the pursuit of this. I'm better than him. I'll show him how to do it. I'll show him that I'm better than him. And while they were pursuing it, they messed up things worse than I did. And I did things worse than the person I was judging. Exactly because of that. There's an ego element here.
Well, one thing for sure, and without a doubt, what you do to others, you do to yourself. And so the one that's judging others are way worse than the one that they're judging. And it starts with them. And so as they're judging others, they're also judging, they're doing it to themselves, and they're miserable within themselves because they're really doing it to themselves. They're not doing it to others. It's inside of them. But their father, the devil, told them is outside, inside someone else. But it's really inside of them. So that's why when you do it to others, you're really doing it to yourself. You can find no peace.
I didn't hear any piece when I was judging. I agree with you 100%. And with that said, Mr. Peterson, I know how busy you are. Thanks for taking the call. Kind regards to your colleagues in the audience, and God be with you, sir. You're doing an amazing work.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate your input, man. Thank you.
Have a remarkable day, sir.
You too, buddy. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Abdullah out of Washington State. Abdul, not Abdullah. Abdul out of Washington State. Abdul, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
How you doing?
All is well. All is well.
I had a question about the Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope.
Do you think he's going to get reelected?
I don't know. I'm waiting to see, and but I just don't know. I'm waiting to see. It looked like it from a distance, but it definitely looked like it.
The biggest problem I have with the Great White Hope is he didn't deliver on his #1 campaign promise.
And what was that?
The wall, the beautiful wall that you love.
And why do you think he didn't finish the wall?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. At the time, I wasn't in support.
The reason he didn't finish it because time ran out, and he had to fight with the Republicans and the Democrats to try to get money to even build a portion of the wall that he was able to build. And so time ran out, and that's why he didn't finish it. But he did. Do you know he started it, right?
He didn't start it. When did he start it?
You say he did not start?
When did he start it? I never seen him once start it.
Oh, so you don't know a portion of the wall went up?
It did?
Yeah. Hey, is that true that people don't know that? Are you, Abdul, are you joking?
I'm dead serious. This is news to me.
You're not the first person I heard say that he didn't even start the wall.
That's interesting.
Is that true that some people think that?
Even the liberal media knows that he completed quite a bit of the wall and rebuilt built up areas that were poorly built.
Yeah.
Yeah. He built new wall and he built up wall that was dilapidated.
But how is it that anyone that's paying attention in America don't know that?
I followed the
I think there's a lot of people saying, oh, he didn't build the wall. So people just assume that, or he didn't finish the wall, so they say he didn't build the wall. And so they just jump to conclusions.
How much of the wall is went up?
Abdul said that he didn't even start the wall. And I have heard other people say that.
Right. I think they hear one thing and jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to vote for a guy that didn't finish on his whole promise. That was like the whole reason the biggest thing he said he was going to accomplish was that wall. Mexico is going to build a wall. And
have you ever started something that you didn't finish?
Yeah.
And how do you feel? And how do you feel about yourself for not finishing?
Well, I eventually finished it.
But how do you feel about yourself for not finishing?
It needs work. I need time.
And would you still vote for yourself?
Yeah, I would.
And so why are you treating the Great White Hope any differently than that?
Okay, you're right. You got a good point. He's better than the incompetent in the House right now.
He's better than the whole House right now.
The whole House. He's definitely better than them.
So did you vote for him the first time around?
I didn't. At that time, the media brainwashed me, like they do to black people.
Yeah.
Where they say, vote this way, go left, or you're wrong, go left.
And will you vote for him this time around?
And I will vote for him, definitely.
Right on.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to ask you, Jesse. I appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Abdul. All right. Amazing. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Super chat. Super.
Over on Threads. Did you know that Jesse Lee Peterson is on Threads? There's an answer to the biblical question.
What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling?
Ian says, honor and reverence for his holiness and sovereignty, Instead of coming to God and treating him like your quote-unquote homie or quote-unquote bro, come to him with reverent awe and respect for his perfection.
How do you do something like that?
Like this. I don't know.
I really do appreciate you responding to the biblical question. I put my 2 cents in, but how do you do something like that? It sounds nice.
Right.
But how do you do it? I ain't never seen somebody doing it.
How do you know what you're looking at?
Right.
Maybe they were doing it and you just didn't realize
Have
it.
you ever done that, Hassan? Gone to God with honor and reverence?
I have.
And how did you... I figured that.
Did he? Did Jesse see you while you were doing it and he didn't realize it?
How do you do that? What did you say, Jay?
You said you never saw anybody do that. I'm curious whether he was doing it while you saw him, and maybe you did see it and you just didn't recognize it.
Did I see you doing it?
Yeah.
Was this in the synagogue of Satan?
It's synagogue of Sandy.
And so how do you do that, Hassan? Go to God in honor and reverence.
I think you gotta do it in a sense where you're not you're not trying to bargain or.
How did you do it?
By
you say you did it.
Yeah, by respecting.
I wonder if Joel Black. I bet he did it.
He's Christian.
But go ahead.
Yeah, just like I think, like he's saying, like a lot of times people would just be like, "Oh yeah, God is just like, like he said, my friend or my homie," and I think you should have a.
But how did you do it? You did it, right?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
And then how did you do it?
Just in full submission, full, not trying to barter with God, just completely, having a, like you say, like having a full, let your will be done, a full submission, not trying to, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for the question. For the response to the biblical question. I'll put my 2 cents in on Sunday. Joel Fry just said, "You're fallen if you don't go to God with fear and reverence." What the?
Sure.
That's interesting. Thank you.
Lizzie bought a coffee. Jesse, can you make Hassan propose to me, please?
Who?
Hassan.
Who is that?
Lizzie.
Who is? Do you know Lizzie, Hassan?
I mean,
yesterday she said she's a married woman.
Yeah, I don't know.
Leaving her husband.
Hassan got enough problem with married women.
I got enough problem. That's for sure.
So you're not going to make him?
I cannot encourage that one. If you weren't married, that'll be a different story. But that's the last thing Hassan needs.
But we love you.
That's right. Thank you. Be happy with your husband. Why you want Hassan? Hassan love his dog.
The grass is always greener.
Yeah.
In the imagination.
Hassan love his dog more. He love his mama.
Someone bought you 5 coffees. Mr. Jesse,
Thank you,
if we are not to remember what we read or the past, why did you write books and sell merchandise? Is that how the world operates?
I wrote them to remind you not to remember.
Brenda McDonald is now a member, a monthly supporter on Buy Me a Coffee, saying good work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me take a quick break.
All right.
We're finished when I come back and your phone calls. Back in a moment. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. It's Christmas in the air, and it's Christmas season. Merry Christmas. For personalized shout-out, I do them for you. Birthday, Merry Christmas, birthday shout-outs, Merry Christmas shout-out, happy anniversaries, encouragements, congratulations, whatever the occasion might be. Go to Cameo, CAMEO.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. CAMEO.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Let's finish those super chats.
Gregatron bought 2 coffees. Jesse, you better leave Tony from California alone. I think he'll create his own little network to rival yours. It will consist of himself, Earl, Maze, all the Black Hebrew Israelites, all the band callers, Mel, T, Russ, Jason, etc., dividing the races with lies instead of uniting the races with truth.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let me ask. Bought 3 coffees. Jesse, why is it that I am much happier now that I have found Jesus and stopped drinking and smoking and don't even feel the need to hang out with my fake friends anymore?
Amazing. You're a free man. You're becoming a free man. Or a lady. Is that a man or woman?
Don't know. Let me ask.
Male or female, you're becoming free.
Charlotte.
And wait until, just to add real fast, now the light comes on and you're like, whoa, right? Wait until that old nature, which you call, what do people call the old nature?
The
vices.
The flesh.
They call them vices.
Oh, yeah.
But stop calling your vices your old nature. Call them your old nature. So you can see it for what it is. It's the nature of evil. It's the nature of the devil, right? Because you had anger in your heart. Your nature was that of the devil as well, which include vice, what you call vices, things of the world. Once that die, wait until that is gone. And if you stay with the light will destroy it. You're going to fly like an eagle. Thank you. That's why. Stay with it.
Charles bought 2 coffees on the History Channel series. They have all these blacks explaining how all of these things whites have invented were built. I haven't seen one product a black has invented yet. What the?
What's wrong with the blacks? And there are blacks who are waking up. That's so amazing, too. Men and women. You should hear some of them, women's forum. And we have all races in the meetings there on Thursday nights. Third Thursday night. And the men forum. There are black men who are totally waking up. And they realize they've been lied to. What a mess. Thank you.
On D-Live, WD-41 bought a diamond saying, amazing.
Amazing. Thank you.
King Alpha Nerd bought a coffee. Just like any activity, you have to do it in moderation. So if you play video games, you should play for a limited time or get paid for it. There are gamers who get paid like a regular job on YouTube or Twitch or others. But if you got no job and play games all day, all night, and get no money, then that's a problem.
Do all things in moderation. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
Not a victim, bought a coffee. Video games serves vanity. Vanity is nothing. There are exceptions, of course, and that is a true reality. Vanity has ruined my country, family, and my soul. Keep rocking the boat, he says.
Thank you. It seems when you use video games in this way, it's no different than using fentanyl or smoking pot or drinking or whatever. It's just another drug. Thank you. And it is for the vanity of the human being, of the person or people. Thank you.
Siona Whitsion bought a coffee. One monkey, don't stop, no show. Jesse Bay, is the economy making people worse and worse, angry and hateful towards other people?
No, the devil is. They're living in their hell, and the hell is looking out and telling them how bad the economy is, and it brings fear, and they take it out on themselves and then others. Good question. Thank you.
Lily Poo over on Rumble says, "Oh, the wall going up."
And that's the same Lily Poo that won a marriage?
No, that's Lizzie.
Oh, the wall going up.
Oh, the wall is going up. Double exclamation mark. I misread it.
They must be white.
Yeah, she must be white. Or it.
It's not the wall is. How does it sound? Oh, the wall is going up.
You don't have to say it all high-pitched and soft. Every white doesn't sound high-pitched and soft.
Or it doesn't say,
that feels
the
racist.
wall going up. So what?
That feels racist. when you say a white voice and then say it all like soft and...
Oh, the wall is going up.
Stop it. All right, moving on.
Thank you. You're right. The wall is going up.
Not a victim, bought a coffee. Answering the biblical question.
What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling?
When you are in the afterlife accounting for yourself, you have to give a good reason for the pride. For example, give a good reason for the pride. Example, I am a glutton, but I loved to bring people together over food. Is that right?
What? Oh, in response to the biblical question?
Yeah.
I can't respond to you. Is that right question? I have to wait until Sunday. But thank you for responding. I appreciate it. Very interesting.
Puke Bucket wrote a Rumble rant. I wrote them to remind you not to remember. That's deep. Referring to your answer about writing books.
Thank you. Amazing.
And thank you, guys. I do believe that's all for now.
Nice. Amazing. Thank you very much. And Merry Christmas. Let me go to Jay. Been waiting a long time. Let me go to Jay out of New Hampshire. Jay, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, buddy. How's everybody doing? Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, Jay.
I wanted to, if I could, real quickly, just chime in on the video game thing, and then I wanted to answer the biblical question.
Okay, go ahead.
Video games, obviously created by evil, and I think it's to just keep the population dumbed down while spirits, because people playing video games are getting excitement, anger, all these things. All these spirits get to actually dwell in the person without them even knowing it. It's kind of like an entertainment for evil.
Yeah, as Sean was saying this morning, all for the thrill of it. That's why they do it.
Yep, no doubt.
Do you blame the creator of the game or the person or people who play the game?
I blame the evil that's blinding the people because they don't know any better.
But do you blame the creator of the game or the people who play the game?
The people playing the game it's really not their fault either, though, because they're blind. They don't know any better. But I don't blame the creator either.
Right on. Nice. What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling?
So my understanding with this, it's it's actually the only way to go to God, because if you're not, like, it's in the process of witnessing against your thoughts. Like when you go, apologize to mama, you're trembling, you're shaking in your boots. And in that process of doing that, that's the only way you're going to God, by not identifying with it anymore. And it's like the process of laying down your sword and picking up your cross.
Have you ever gone...
Witnessing.
Go ahead.
It's witnessing against... It actually is the process of witnessing against, the thoughts and everything that's coming to you from evil that we've all identified with.
Have you ever gone to God in fear and trembling?
I would say not that I'm afraid, but the process of being nervous, going to apologize to your parents and stuff, right? You get that nervous feeling, that shaking in your boots. It's about knowing that God's in control, letting go. It's the process of letting go of you and realizing that God's in control.
Have you ever gone to God in fear and trembling?
I would say, in my past, afraid of stuff and turning to Him in that way. But I think this is more on the spiritual side of it. Because when someone's in the process...
How did you do it when you went to God in fear and trembling? How did you do it?
Well, the process of going to God and letting go of yourself is an eye-opening and a nervous thing. It's fearful to realize that you were wrong. And that is the process of going to Him, that you're realizing that you were wrong for judging the world and having all this and identifying with it. It's that actual process.
Amazing.
That is, letting go of the world is fearful for most because they would rather live in their hell.
I appreciate your response to it, Jay, the biblical question. Very interesting. And I'll put my 2 cents in on Sunday.
Sounds good.
Thank
God
you,
bless.
man.
Merry Christmas, guys.
You too. Merry Christmas, Jay. Amazing. Thank you, buddy. Very interesting. There's a line open, 888-7753-773. Eric out of Georgia. Georgia on my mind. Oh, Derek, not Eric. He has Derek, but it's Derek, I'm told. Hey, Derek.
Yeah. Hey, bud.
Hey, Derek.
How's it going?
All is well, Derek.
I told you the dude that answered the phone something that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
And I decided not to because man shouldn't put his business out there, had he?
Oh, okay. So, I understand.
I would like to answer the biblical question, though.
What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling?
I would like to believe that you can't go to God. People that go to God in fear and trembling, they're in trouble. And they're looking for some reprieve. They're looking for answers because they done messed up their life or did something wrong, and they're begging for forgiveness. So they come humbly in fear and trembling.
Have you ever gone to God in fear and trembling?
No, sir.
And so you don't know what it means to go to God in fear and trembling?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I just do the silent prayer, and when I fear the world. I don't really fear anything, really. I would say most people fear the world, or they have no fear. It's their ego. They do what they want to do, and when that messes up for them, that's when they turn to God off in fear and trembling. Like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, I appreciate you responding to that, Derek. I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday. And you say you have never done that, gone to God in fear and trembling, right?
No, sir, I haven't.
I appreciate
Why would I fear somebody that loves me?
Interesting. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Likewise.
Thank you, Derek. Amazing. 888-7753. That's a line. Joe out of Phoenix. Joe.
Good morning, Jesse. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Joe, out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, so I just got back from 7 days in the south side of Chicago, Jesse.
And you made it out alive. Did you get robbed coming out of there?
No, it's just fine. It's really, really inspiring to see the Obama presidential censure going up. It's about 2 years out from being done, but they're making great progress on it, and it's creating a bunch of economic development there in the South Side. So it's really cool to see.
You so you saw this building going up for Obama Library, you say?
It's the library. It's a public library. It's a public garden. It's conference centers. It's a whole bunch of things. It's a 19-acre campus there on the South Side that's totally revitalizing it. It's really cool to see.
And you say it was inspiring for you?
Yeah, they have a bunch of programs. They have a leaders program, a scholars program.
How were you inspired?
Again, they have a leaders program, a
No,
scholars
but how were you
program,
inspired?
a youth jobs corps.
How were you inspired, Joe?
Because it's cool to see that the South Side being revitalized and folks going to work and
What's wrong with the
whole
blacks?
side of that.
What's wrong with the black? They so dumb that they need an Obama library to be inspired to do something. Why? What's wrong with them that they are incapable of doing it themselves as an individual? Why they always need a handout?
Well, that's a really tortured and completely stupid premise, Jesse.
What do you mean by that? How's that torture?
You're trying to stretch and grasp for straws to try to troll, and it's just not happening.
No, I'm asking you a serious question because one thing I
not
noticed
serious at all.
about the blacks is that they're always inspired by somebody else or something else, and they never seem to have. Not all, but most. But they never seem to have an individual self-inspiration. It seems to always come from the outside, and it always seems to come from what somebody else is doing.
It's really funny because actually there's a lot of black companies that
Why are the blacks like that? Why are they so inspired by somebody else, Bob Georgie? Why are they so inspired?
You're not listening.
Why are they so inspired? Like you said, you were just so inspired with Obama Library, right? Why are the blacks so inspired? And will the library go into the hood and arrest the blacks who are carjacking, killing, breaking into white people businesses and doing all that?
Okay, that's a whole lot of nonsense once again.
But why are the blacks so inspired by somebody else, for the most part, and they don't do it for themselves?
Jesse, you're not going to trigger me with your nonsense.
I'm not trying to trigger you. I'm asking you a question because I hear it all the time, and I wonder what's wrong with the blacks. Like, they're so inspired because they think they're going to get something free. They're inspired by what somebody else is doing, but they don't have it in them to do it themselves. Why is that, Joe?
This is an example of them doing it for themselves, Jesse.
No, this is Obama Library. We pay for that. Why are they inspired?
No, you're not. See, you're lying.
Why are the blacks?
Not an honest person, Jesse.
No, you're right. It's private donor, I think. However, but the blacks ain't doing it. That's your point.
How do you know that?
Why is it that they're not inspired? They're always inspired from the outside by somebody else's stuff.
How do you know the blacks aren't doing it, Jesse?
Can you answer that for me, Joe?
No, answer me. How do you know the blacks aren't doing it? Because you're lying. You're not being honest.
Because I know the blacks. Can you answer that for me? Well, you said you were so inspired by it, right? And you're inspired because of all these programs. What is wrong with the blacks that they're so inspired by somebody else?
You are trying to turn a positive into a negative. Why?
Joe, answer that for me.
Why are you trying? No, just because it's a completely ridiculous premise and it's completely stupid and it's completely wrong.
Is all that for me to ask you about it, or are you saying it's stupid that the blacks are doing it?
They're not doing it, and if you're trying to frame it that way, it's stupid and it's wrong.
But the blacks are always inspired by free stuff.
You're not there's nothing free going on, Jesse. Sorry, try again.
And they love programs, and they love thinking they might get something from it. Why is that, Joe?
Jesse, you're all about creating businesses, correct?
Joe, why are the blacks? I'm asking you about the blacks, Joe.
Yeah, and you're not listening. I'm trying to answer you, and you're not listening because you're trying to filibuster and push your false narrative.
What's my false narrative?
that the blacks are just begging and whining and wanting free stuff.
How's
None
that
of
a
that's
false
happening
narrative?
Because none of that is happening with what I'm trying to describe to you, but you keep cutting me off because you know you're a liar and you're an evil, sick person, Jesse.
It is happening, Joe. Joe, let me ask you one other
No, it's
question
not.
before we run.
Yeah, you will run because you're just, oh, God, you're just a horrible, evil person, and you have a whole lot of karma coming your way.
Thank you. Joe,
you're welcome.
There's a war going on between Israel and the Palestinians. You know about that, right?
Of course I do.
Which side have you taken on that?
I haven't taken any side. It's none of my business.
So you just stand out of it?
It's none of my business. I don't live in Palestine or the Gaza Strip.
Right on, Joe.
Or Israel.
Good for you, Joe. At least you right on one of these things. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Call me again. 888-7753-773. Emmanuel out of Canada. Emmanuel, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Oh, thank you. Joe, I don't know what's going on there, man, but are you trolling or something? Yeah, that was wild. I had a question. I called you the other day about the silent prayer, and I kind of got sidetracked, but I wanted to ask you about when, like, the first time that you started doing it, Jesse. Like, when did you feel called, or when did God reveal to you that the silent prayer was the answer? Like, in the Bible, it says, be still and know God. So was that when you, like, had a revelation that sitting still?
Yes, about 34 years ago.
Okay, so it was from the Bible that you had that revelation?
No, from God.
So were you sitting still when that happened?
Oh, man, 34 years ago, but I don't remember all that. What's up?
I'm just curious.
Why is that
because
so
it just
important?
Fascinates me. It just fascinates me. I wanted to know, like, how
you want to know if I'm
started
like,
doing it.
you want to know, like, when he caused me to realize it, that
Yeah, and then, like,
I'm
you
like,
push it a lot,
what's up?
right?
I'm sitting still. Am I moving about? I don't 34. I don't even remember everything about yesterday.
But so the reason I'm fascinated and I want to know is because it has power, right? The silent prayer, it does something, and I just want to know how it came into your life. And
The
like
silent
how
prayer has no power.
It doesn't.
No, when it does, it comes and slows you down, so that the power of the Father can take over, and the power of God is what leads you. It changes your life. It opens your eyes. It changes the old nature to a new nature. It returns you to the Father.
That's what I meant, really.
The prayer itself does not do that. So it's not the power of the prayer. It's being still and allowing that to happen to you from the Father.
Okay. Fair.
Are you doing it every day?
Yes, I am.
Nice.
Some days I miss. Oh, yeah, the other thing was...
You about to
does it
say some
matter?
days you miss?
Some days I miss.
Well, you're not doing it every day. What the?
Mostly in the evenings.
But so you're not doing it every day. What the?
Every morning, 100%, but some nights I drift off, and that's why I wanted to ask you, does it matter if, like, do you have to do it directly before bed, or can you do it, like...
No, you can do it an hour or so before you go to bed.
So you can be doing stuff
Hold
after
on,
you
Joe.
do the
Hold on,
silent
Emmanuel. Hold on, buddy. Hake is coming in with the hate news, not the fake news. I'll be back in a moment. Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing.
Abortion lawsuit by a 31-year-old married mother out of Texas. She wants to be able to kill her baby because it's going to die within a year or less, maybe after a year. Tommy Tuberville is allowing for some funding, and there has been so-called sexual violence in the Israel-Palestine mess, mainly from the Palestinians, allegedly. And it's reminiscent of the horrors going on in South Africa, but I haven't heard a word about that in the UN. This is the end of hour 2 of the J.S. Lee Peterson Show. It is Wednesday, December 6th, 2023 AD. The lines are full, guys. JLP will be right back to your calls for Manhood Hour, by the way. But first, Hake news, not fake news. The far-left female-run outlet The Skim reports on this abortion lawsuit. A woman is suing Texas over the so-called right to have an abortion. There is no such right in the first lawsuit of its kind. First time since the now overturned Roe v. Wade ruling that a woman has asked the court to intervene and allow her to kill the unborn child in her womb. She's 20 weeks pregnant. That's roughly 3.5 months, 4 months, right? Kate Cox's fetus, also known as a child belonging to the father, but the father is in on this crime, belonging to God, not her or the father, has been diagnosed with trisomy 18, a fatal chromosomal condition, Edwards syndrome. 5 to 10% survive past a year old. 1 in 5,000 kids get it. Babies often born small, heart defects. Others features small head, small jaw, clenched fist with overlapping fingers. Severe intellectual disability. Risk factor is older mothers. She's just 31 years old. It's not that much older, but that's a little bit older, according to the far-left Guardian. The lawsuit claims if she goes through with the pregnancy and has a C-section, she risks her ability to have kids in the future. She already has 2. Still, doctors told... She's white, by the way, supposedly. Not normal. Still, doctors told her she's required under Texas law, which bans nearly all abortions, to continue with her pregnancy because her life is not really at risk. Kate Cox is asking the courts to grant her, and her husband, Justin, grant her an emergency order to get the abortion and to protect her doctor from being sued for carrying out the procedure. Oh, just risking a lawsuit? The Texas Supreme Court's hearing a bigger abortion case. A reproductive rights organization, euphemism for pro-baby killing group, filed a lawsuit against the state's abortion law, arguing it doesn't clearly define exceptions to the ban. The suit says it has created confusion and fear amongst doctors, as they could potentially serve life in prison. Last summer, a district judge issued a temporary injunction to protect doctors from prosecution for providing the procedure, killing the unborn, when there's a health risk to mothers, just a health risk, or when there's a fetus unlikely to survive, a baby unlikely to survive, just likely. Shortly after, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, Republican, is appealing the ruling. Texas Supreme Court's decision could affect whether Kate Cox and other women carry non-viable pregnancies, supposedly non-viable pregnancies, can get an abortion. Texas is one of more than a dozen states that moved to restrict abortion since Roe v. Wade ended. One poll showing 6 in 10 Texas voters say they'd support abortion in all or most cases. Pretty disgusting. It's not a democracy. Now these lawsuits could lead to more clarity on the exceptions in which the procedure is allowed, of killing the unborn is allowed. Speaking of abortion, Senator Tommy Tuberville, Republican from Alabama, yesterday, he announced he's ending his blockade on nearly all military promotions. For 10 months, Tuberville single-handedly blocked more than 450 promotions in response to the Pentagon's abortion policy. His decision left military posts empty amid wars in Ukraine and Gaza, as if we're fighting in them. We're not. Garnering criticism from Demon Rats and Republicans. Now Tuberville says he's not going to hold promotions any longer. Fellow senators come up with a plan to go around him. His change of heart doesn't apply to 4-star generals. Senate wasted no time and confirmed 425 military promotions yesterday. I'm James Hake. I guess I'll tell you about that sexual violence mess on the Hake Report. Now back to JLP, Hour 3.
have to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Sorry about that. I'm here. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. We are uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show today. There is a line open at 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. And if you don't have time to sit and watch the show right now, you're busy. Anywhere in the world, you can podcast, but you can still listen to the show while doing what you're doing by calling the listen line on your iPhone or iPad at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. Follow us on cozy.tv/JLP. Cozy.tv/JLP. And JLP Talk on X. JLP Talk on X. Like, follow, ring the bell, subscribe, and do all the social media stuff that you know to do. We also are Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Or rebuildingtheman.com. Rebuildingtheman.com. Or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP on Cash App. Amazing. My brand new biblical question this week. Well, it's not new. Well, it's just Wednesday. So somewhat new. Biblical question. What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling? What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling? Amazing question. And a lot of people are responding, thank you. You know, real fast, the government, it's the third hour of the show. I forgot. And the third hour of the show on Wednesdays is Manhood Hour. What is a man? What is a man?
It's an adult human male.
Manhood. Hillary or President Trump?
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Beta male. A man is a male who turned to man. Alpha male. Live right, be right, and lead the way.
If I were the devil, I'd subvert the churches first. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves.
Real funny, Dad. Made me look like a stupid idiot in front of the whole family.
And nations at war with themselves.
This week it's Robert E. Lee. I wonder, is it George Washington next week?
To be a person of color means to live a parallel existence.
Until each in its turn was consumed. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild.
You're not going to talk to me like that, you dumb.
In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Wow, that is so deep. That was Paul Harvey years ago, 1965. And that's exactly what's happening now. Isn't that amazing? It's what's happening now. If I was the devil, I'll put your tax dollars at work, as our government is doing today. Here is some works of the devil. According to Rasmussen report, in 2011, 42.2 million Americans, 1 in 7, were on food stamps. In 2011, 44.2 million Americans, 1 in 7 were on food stamps. Watch this from TikTok.
Are you guys ready to learn?
Yeah.
Okay. So you made all this money, right?
Yes.
Okay. Move your hands. Okay, so you made all this money. And now the government comes in and they leave you with only that much out of that much. Listen! But you worked really hard for all that money, huh? Okay, so your sister, she doesn't want to work, so she's going to get that much money to do nothing. And then the rest of this will just go to nothing but the Chinese.
Hey, she took my money.
It's her money because she got some of what you worked for because she didn't want to work.
That's just like...
I
know, it's sad.
See, even a child know that that's wrong. You got to earn it. But the government is the devil, at least a portion of the government. The people are too, until you're born of the Father. 44.7 million Americans. Isn't that amazing? And that opening from the MANHOOD, I think the Anchor Baby did it. That was deep, Anchor Baby. Thank you, Nick.
Amazing.
It was amazing. Isn't that amazing? Everybody and their mama on food stamps, except baby Jessica's daddy. According to Pat Buchanan, his book, Suicide of a Superpower. I remember once Pat Buchanan was announcing that he was running for president, and he had Isola Foster running for vice president with him. And at the convention, I had to introduce Isola Foster as candidate for vice president. It was so much fun. May her soul rest in peace. She's since inspired. Isola Foster was a conservative black school teacher who was out fighting for what was, the borders and and the schools and things like that back in the 90s. Back in the 90s. Hey, you know Pat Buchanan? You know who that is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. But anyway, from Pat Buchanan's Suicide of American book, brand new book, I guess it's brand new, in 2011, 2011 book, yeah, 2011 book from Pat. In 2011, the cost of taxpayers of the U.S. food stamp program hit $77 billion, more than doubling in 4 years. First among the reason is family disintegration. It's one of the reasons food stamp costs went up. 41% of American children are born out of wedlock. 41% of American children are born out of wedlock. Among black Americans, it's 71% born out of wedlock. 71% of black children, according to this report, born out of wedlock. When I was growing up, it was less than 10%. Isn't that something? How did it get way up there? Less than 10% That's amazing. Now, 71% of black children born out of wedlock. 41% of American children are born out of wedlock, but among the blacks is 71%. Food stamp feed children abandoned by their fathers. First of all, fathers do not abandon their children. That's a lie. Fathers, when they leave the mother. Because there's a war between the father and the mother. It has nothing to do with the children. So fathers do not abandon their children. Food stamps feed children abandon their father. Taxpayers are taking up slack for millions of deadbeat dads. Deadbeat dads, no such thing as a deadbeat dad. Another lie. If the mother stayed out of the way and just let her little fight be between the father and her and leave the children alone, you will see more and more children with their fathers. You can bank on it. But they leave all that out and they put titles like deadbeat father or deadbeat dad, abandoning their children. It ain't true. But anyway, the food stamp thing is through the roof. And Pat Harvey said, if I was the devil, that's what I would do. And the IRS is taking more and more and more. Taking more and more and more. This is from Breitbart. I had heard of this before, but I didn't understand the depths of it or what it really meant until Hake explained it the other day, and I was prep meeting for the show. Breitbart reported the IRS is charging 8% interest when it comes to estimated tax underpayment. When it comes to estimated tax underpayment. 2 years ago, it was 3%. Now they're charging 8% because they are the devil. And so the estimated tax, apparently there are some people who kind of estimate what they're going to pay in taxes, I'm told. And then a lot of times they tend to estimate a little bit more than what they really expect to pay, and they get that back. But they tend to estimate. And at one time, they have to pay every quarter. They have to pay every quarter, every 3 months, right? And so at one time, that was only 3% interest on that. Now it's 8%. What did Paul Harvey say? If I was the devil, this is what he would do. And if I was the devil, where's it all going? All your money. It definitely ain't going to making America. Look at the roads in America. The flying around America now. Airplanes. Look at the illegal alien. I saw a report this morning where there was some illegal alien crossing, and they were thanking Joe Biden on the camera. The reporters that was out there, I believe they were from Fox. They were thanking you, Joe. Thank you, Joe Biden. And then there was one guy that was helping them cross the border. What do they call those people that they get paid to help the illegal come over?
Oh, these angel people.
No, these was like the bad guy, coyotes.
Okay.
Well, these ain't no real angels either.
Exactly.
Angels of the devil. He was helping people cross through the border over. He was like waving at the camera. What's up, y'all? What a mess, huh? But anyway, Politico. The White House delivered a dire warning to congressional leaders on Monday that time is running out for lawmakers to approve more assistance to Ukraine. Sounding the alarm that Kiev battlefield gains against Russia are at risk without more money. So they're sounding the alarm about what's happening in some foreign country but they're not sounding any alarms as to what's happening in America. Figure that one out. They love somebody else's children more than they love their own. It's so bad now. Illegal aliens are even entering into the shores, upon the shores of Malibu, California. Not Malibu. That's where all the rich people go to live. Well, not all, but a lot of them. And the border's still a mess. Watch this from Fox. Video shows a boat full of suspected illegal immigrants landing on a beach in Malibu earlier this week. Watch this from Fox. Look at that. It looks like from a foreign country. Leaving the trash right there. That's in Malibu, California, according to the report. What a mess. Here's what Theodore Roosevelt had to say about immigration.
Teddy had it so right. Not Kennedy, but Roosevelt. Submitted by Ted Barber, Austin, Texas. Theodore Roosevelt's idea on immigrants and being an American in 1907. In the first place, we should insist that if the immigrant who comes here in good faith becomes an American and assimilates himself to us, he shall be treated on exact equality with everyone else. For it is an outrage to discriminate against any such man because of creed or birthplace or origin. But this is predicated upon the person's becoming in every facet an American and nothing but an American. There can be no divided allegiance here. Any man who says he is an American but something else also isn't an American at all. We have room for but one flag, the American flag. We have room for but one language here, and that is the English language. And we have room for but one sole loyalty, and that is a loyalty to the American people.
I rest my case. This is why they hate white men so much. The white men love their country. Way back in 1907. Doesn't it sound like the Great White Hope today? The old school. America first. Things were beautiful back then, too. It's amazing. 888-7. This is why white men are under attack. They don't want you to save America. What the? They hate you for this. And they're trying to put you out of the picture and replace you with the blacks. And they're trying to make the Mexicans and others feel like victims so they can use them to destroy white Americans as well. Destroy white America. The country is over. God bless Teddy Roosevelt. May his soul rest in peace.
Amazing.
Amazing. I forgot about Emmanuel from Canada. Emmanuel, you said that. Thank you for holding, man. I forgot.
Man, you just left me hanging here. What the?
I know, I'm wrong. So you say you're not doing the silent prayer every day and every night, right?
So what happens is, as I'm sitting here waiting for you, I'm reflecting and I'm thinking, I'm getting up in my head about this. But like the silent prayer, I do it religiously every morning, and I have been for a while now. it's in the evening. Sometimes I get distracted on my phone and stuff. And I get up in my head. It's like, if you don't do the silent prayer right before bed, there's no point in doing it. And then I just like, sometimes I listen to that and I'll just fall asleep. But like,
and so why is it that you would put anything else before it? Especially when you say you're so excited about it. Fascinating.
I don't know. That's a good question. It's distraction. I get distracted easily.
But if you're so fascinated about it, how is it possible to get distracted?
That's a good question. The phone is definitely part of it, but it's on me. It's on me. I allow myself to get distracted. You know?
But you still didn't tell me why.
Why?
Especially since you say it's so fascinating, you really want to know more about it. How can that possibly happen? Because in all honesty, a person that's really fascinated about it, and fascinated meaning that you're waking up, you see it work, you want it. Can't nothing else distract you from it. And so that's why I'm just wondering.
There's a part of me that's still.
That's why I'm wondering why that is happening. I'm sorry?
There's a part of me that still questions it, right? Obviously. Still doubts it maybe a little bit. But
and which part of you that's doing that? Which part of you that's doing that?
Well, it's the not me.
And what is that? What's the not you?
That's my ego identity. That's the thoughts, that's where all the doubt comes from.
Why do you still worship that?
I don't know, Jesse, because I spent most of my life doing it, so it's like a deeply ingrained thing.
Yeah.
It is falling away. I do feel it falling away, but it's still there. Like, and I do get frustrated sometimes. Like, how the heck am I still believing this stuff and reacting to this stuff? But it's a process, and I think, as you say, like, you keep it up and it falls away.
And so you get frustrated, and you say, "What's that noise? A train?"
So there's a train in my yard. Yeah.
They picking up slaves.
Oh, man.
That sounds like one of those slave trains.
Yeah, we got one right next to the house here.
What part of you get frustrated?
The emotional part, man. I spent most of my life run by anger and emotions, and it wasn't until I started really listening to what you were saying that I started, around that time coming out of it, realizing, I grew up listening to like really aggressive, angry music, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that contributed to it. But
the reason I ask because I want to encourage you, never call the frustration that you feel you again, because it's not you either. And so when those feelings do come, it come from a thought. But when they do happen, do not call it you. It's enough to see it, but don't give it any identity as you. It's not you. You want to overcome all identities, the so-called good ones and the so-called bad ones. So stop calling it you. Stop calling it I'm frustrated. It's not you at all.
Yeah. Thank you for that reminder.
And don't...
and thank you guys.
You're welcome. But one last thing, don't fight with it either, because it's a dark... You're dealing with spirits, and they are evil. And there's nothing...
That's my biggest problem, is I fight it, and it makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah. You keep it alive when you fight it, because you're playing God, thinking you can do something about it. And it knows that you're not God, and it is controlling you, so you have devils fighting devils.
Right. You just have to rest when it happens.
Right. You just have to.
My whole life, I'm so trained, Jesse. I was trained to fight this thing. I was fight it. And even though it doesn't work, it's just like this. I'm trained to do that. So it's like breaking that habit.
Well, lay your weapon down. There's no need to fight anymore. Stop the fight.
Yeah.
Thank
One
you,
quick
man.
thing I wanted to say, Hassan, his song, "Waiting on God."
Waiting on God, waiting on God.
That's lit. You need to get Jesse doing some background vocals on that. And also, when I first heard it, I thought that sounds like The Weeknd had a conversion, man. I don't know if you guys know who The Weeknd is, but he's a Canadian artist.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
no
it,
worries.
man.
Yeah, we're working on some stuff, so.
Nice,
Lord
nice.
willing.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy.
Big ups, guys.
All right. Wait on God, wait on God. Ooh, yeah. That's a line open, 888-7753-773. Brandy is out of Hawaii. Brandy, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse.
Hey, Brandy.
Hi, I was calling to try to answer that biblical question.
What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling?
I think my answer is to... I think this is an amazing question, actually, because I just posted something the other day of when I was really, really sick in the hospital, and I cried out to God in the hospital and said that I begged for my life, pretty much. And so the other day, I just posted that I fear God more than anything in the world, more than the devil, than I'll say anything and do anything for him. I told him I would. And I just find that, like, 2 days later, you give me this question right after I said that. And I'm like, oh, that's God saying, yeah, that's right. You better fear me. I just find it fascinating, right? Isn't that amazing?
And so you beg God to save your life, you say?
Yeah, I almost died when I had my son. And
I thought you said the other day.
No, the other day I posted some pictures of me from 2018.
Oh, almost died?
Really, really, yeah, I was at death's door. It's like 105 pounds.
And so when you said to God, what did you say? Oh, God, don't let me die.
No, I said that I said if I'm going to die right now, what did I say? Truthfully, I said, sorry, my son's making noise and he's throwing me off. I said, God, all I can ask of you right now is for you to please spare my son, and I'll gladly lay my life down for him. But if you please save me too, you spare my life, I will do and say anything you want me to. I'll do whatever you want, you ask of me.
And so
I went in to the silent prayer. Actually, I never even listened to you back then. I didn't know what else to do but to go silent.
And so he saved you, and now you're doing everything he asked you to do?
I hope so.
Are you?
I just kind of live in the moment, and
are you doing everything he asked you to do?
I could be better, probably.
I'm sorry?
But I'm trying.
You didn't tell him you were going to try to do it. You said you were going to do it.
I said I was going to do it, but sometimes I wonder if it's my ego telling me to do stuff or if it's him. Sometimes I get it confused, maybe. But I feel like I am trying.
Well, I appreciate you, Brandon, responding to the biblical question, and I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday. That's very interesting. Thank you for that, all right?
Yeah, I'll try to call back and give you more of the story at some point.
All right.
It is a pretty amazing story. I should be dead.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Amazing. I got to take a break. Treasure Chest is now open on D-Live. And I'll come back to your calls and Super Chats. Back in a moment. Check out my book, For Raised to Responsibility. I show you how I was able to overcome anger. The spirit of anger was taken away from me. I had it. And as a result of having anger, I was insecure. I had doubt, worry, fear. I was in a fallen state and didn't know it. And it wasn't until I went and forgave my mother, who tried to turn me away from my father, I forgave my father for not being there and returned back to him. My spirit connected with his spirit, and through him, I was able to return to God. And I have perfect peace. Perfect love casts out anger. And when anger is gone, fear and doubt, worry, insecurity, suicidal thoughts, all of that is gone. And you are free. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or if you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website at rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND. Okay, folks, a couple of announcements. The Hake, H-A-K-E, report is coming up at the top of this hour. The Hake Report.com from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. And James Hake is on fire Monday through Friday. The guy with the good hair, the Hake Report.com. And then at 12 noon, the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby at 12 noon Pacific time. You don't want to miss the American Anchor Baby flying high on natural energy given to him by God. Tomorrow night, Sean, do we have a brand new episode of the Father's Day? I thought I was told yesterday we had one. Oh, okay. Yeah, we didn't get it yet. He said they didn't have it yet, so we'll have it tomorrow. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, the first Thursday of the month, and the last first Thursday of this year, we're having our men's forum at 7 p.m. every first Thursday night of the month. All right, go to rebuildingtheman.com for more information. It's amazing. It's just really, really amazing. Rebuildingtheman.com for more information, all right? And also, ladies, get ready. Your meeting is coming fast. The third Thursday night of the month, the last Thursday of this month, for ladies only. Amazing. And don't forget, it's the end of the year. It's time for giving. So go to, and you get tax write-off for it. Go to rebuildingtheman.com for your tax-deductible donations to my nonprofit. Rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663 to make your donation. All right? There's one line open at 888-7753. 773 888-77 Jesse. Let me go quickly to Jeff out of Arizona. Let's see here. Jeff, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, sir. How you doing, man?
All is well, Jeff.
All right. Hey, I had the biblical question.
What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling?
I think that is for each individual, whatever their personal meaning is. But my conclusion is that it's not us that goes to God in fear and trembling. I think it is the false us that goes to God in fear and trembling. The real us has no problem standing before God. That's my answer.
I will put my 2 cents in on Sunday. Very, very interesting. So you have never gone to God. It sounds like you have never gone to God in fear and trembling.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I love God.
You love God?
I love God.
And how do you know you love him?
Because I feel it. I feel it. I feel the love for God. I love God. I yearn for God. I just want to be with God.
And what does that feeling feel like?
It's just, it's happiness. It's pure joy. It's a relief. It's indescribable.
Amazing. Well, I really appreciate you putting your 2 cents in on there, and I will put I like the feedback, but I'll put my 2 cents in on Sunday. I want to respond, but I can't. Thank you for that, though, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. God bless you.
You too, buddy. Amazing. And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Let me go to Ronnie. There's one line open. We're going to try and get to all of y'all, all right? Ronnie out of Ohio. Ronnie, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Uncle Jesse, how you doing today?
All is well, sir. Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Yep. So I wanted to call in once you had your little talk with Joe earlier about the Obama library that's going up in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the conversation, it seems like you thought that the library was being built to inspire black people.
Right.
Am I right in that, or am I wrong in you thinking that?
Based on what Joe said, it sounded like it.
What did Joe say that made it sound like it was going up for black people to be inspired?
He said it was so inspiring, and then he named off some of the things that were inspiring about it.
Is Joe black? I thought he was white.
No. Joe is black. He black.
You sure?
Well, I'm not sure about what you've said. I believe.
You didn't ask him? You usually ask people if they black
but
or
no, he black.
If they Christian.
No, Joe is black. He have said it before.
Joe sounded white.
Well, you know, some black people sound like they white.
What's wrong with them?
He probably went to a white school. Now he trying to be white.
Got it. So are you against the library going up?
No, I'm neither for it nor against it. It's just that I'm sick and tired. Well, not really sick and tired, but sick and tired of blacks. Not all, but most have to be inspired. Somebody got to do something to inspire them. And they always looking for a handout to inspire them and just time out for it. Aren't you?
I don't really see that in the world I live in. I don't see a lot of black people saying, hey, we need inspiration, and without inspiration, we can't do anything. I don't even know any black people like that personally. But I also have not seen black people that I don't know do that.
And you don't hear either?
No.
You don't hear that blacks need to be inspired and they want to be inspired?
No, outside of you saying it. So, yeah, I guess I have heard it. I've heard you say it today.
You live in the white community or something?
Nah.
Well, then that's why you thought Joe was white. Y'all, what the?
I said I don't live in a white community. It's pretty diverse where I live.
Have you ever?
I don't try to go in.
Have you ever heard Obama say he's building this thing to inspire and empower the blacks?
I didn't know Obama was building it. No, I didn't hear him say that.
Obama
remarked.
So what now?
I didn't know Obama was the one that was building it.
Obama remarked at the ceremony groundbreaking for the Obama Presidential Center. He said, that will be the core mission of the center, inspiring and empowering communities. Obama Foundation. Watch this.
I got my first job in public service and community organizing on the south side of Chicago. This could anchor a transformation of the south side to create more jobs, more business opportunities, more hope. It would send a message to young people on the south side that you count, that you matter. That's why we wanted it here on the south side.
See how sad and pathetic that is, Ronnie?
I don't think that's pathetic. I think I have a different opinion on it than you do.
It's sad. He building a library to inspire and to empower. How's a library going to empower you and inspire you? It doesn't even make sense, but the blacks fall for it. That's why I'm building it on the south side. And ain't one crime going down.
Well, one is not built, kind of like the Trump wall hasn't been completed. The Obama library has not been completed.
But I'm talking about Obama saying he's doing it to inspire and empower. How's that going to inspire and empower? Ain't one crime going down. And by the way, I'm being told that Joe might be from Arizona, might be actually mixed, but no. But he said he's black. I'm not sure what he is, but I don't think he's white though.
Understood. So Chicago, that's a city that you talk about a lot. It's a city that Fox News talks about a lot, about somebody needing to do something about the crime. Trump didn't stop the crime when he was in the White Office. Joe Biden hasn't either. But I think anything that would move the ball in a positive direction to try to reduce crime and things of that nature, I think that's a good thing. And literacy and
a library ain't gonna do it.
Libraries help people study, they help people read, and they give people access to technology when they don't have it.
It doesn't curtail power. It doesn't curtail crime, though.
When reading rates go up, crime goes down.
No.
And when reading rates goes down, crime goes up.
No.
That's why they build jails. Yes, Jesse, they build jails based on the literacy. Yes, they do, Jesse. The way they determine how many prisons they want to build is based on third grade reading scores.
Amazing. Where you get that from?
You didn't know that? You didn't know that?
No, where you get that from?
I thought everybody knew that.
I don't believe it.
Observe.
Even though I hear it, I still don't believe it because that's not what causes crime.
So you think that the people that are in jail are reading at the level they're supposed to be?
I don't know. I know people in
jail
who.
Right.
I know people who in jail who taught reading.
For sure. We might have former presidents go to jail. I didn't say everybody in jail is reading at a level that they shouldn't be, but for the most part, not all, but most prisoners are reading at like a fourth or third grade level
and
or
it has
below that.
Nothing
That's why
to
they
do
turn
with,
to crime.
You know why I know for a fact it didn't have anything to do with reading doesn't have anything to do with going to prison or not. It's because in the good old days when boys were boys and men were men, especially the blacks, they didn't know how to read that well. They weren't into that reading stuff, and they didn't go to jail. They didn't commit crimes. They didn't blame the white man. So it has nothing to do with whether you can read or not, but it has everything to do with the heart.
I think you looked at specifically black people. I'm talking about
I'm talking about any person,
general.
But we're talking about
you
black
just said
folks.
Black people as your example.
Because we're talking about black folks and the library that are supposed to be so inspiring and empowering. It's all lies. But Ronnie, I gotta run. I want to get you some more calls.
Real quick before you ruin.
Yes, sir.
You stood up and you were caping for the Robert E. Lee statue. And then now it seems like you're talking bad about a library.
No, I'm saying that.
I don't even understand how your brain works sometimes.
I'm saying that a library ain't going to inspire no black people to be empowered or anything like that. It's all a lie, and it's really just being promoted to make money.
If it helps them read and it gives them access to the internet and technology when they might not have it, I think that's a step in the right direction.
We just went through all that. But Joe,
Ronnie,
in the right
direction.
Thank you, buddy. Call me again. I appreciate it.
All right, God bless.
You too, buddy. They're out of, there's a line open for. They're out of North Carolina. Let's see here. Derek, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Jesse. How you doing, man?
All is well, sir. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
Yes, sir. I just had 2 quick questions for you. I'm gonna make it quick. So I'm kind of new into politics. Only been in politics for about 2 years and stuff now. And I'm on the Trump train now. I've listened to all the politicians, and I'm on the Trump train. I'm just trying to figure out, how do you deal with I have family that come. They see my flag. I got my hats and everything. And they're like, "Oh, Derek, you're doing too much now. You're just doing too much." And it's like I live in an area where we got Mexicans. They fly their flag around. Haitians, they got their flag. But it's like the moment I want to wear my flag or my hat, they're like, "Oh, you a coon. You a sellout." I'm just trying to figure out, how do you deal with that?
By not taking it personal, they can't help it, and so don't get angry at them, because what they say and do has nothing to do with you. That's what's inside of them. So do not argue with them about it. Don't try to prove anything. Don't take it personal. That's their own private hell.
I figured that. and then I had amazing. I had one more question. Now, I've listened to your older shows, and I've heard this question to you a lot, and I feel like I'm in the same boat. So I'm recently married. I just got married. Been married for about almost a year now.
Mm-hmm.
But I had both of my children. I have 2 daughters, one 6 and one about to be 6 months, and I had them both out of wedlock. And so when I talk to people about getting married and stuff like that, they'll say the same thing like they say to you, like, "Well, Derek, how can you talk when you're doing it? You're having your children out of wedlock." And it's like, I'm trying to get them to understand the difference between doing and did. It's like they don't understand that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how would you deal with that situation as well.
Just first of all, you don't owe them a response, but let's say you want to respond. Just say, "Oh, yeah, you're right. I did do that. That was wrong, and I'm not doing that again. But you're right. I did do it. It was wrong. So I'm telling you, I'm encouraging you not to do it, because it hurts the children when they can't have the father and the mother. I was wrong for doing that. That's all. And now you overcome being wrong, and you're on the side of right, so you won't be doing that kind of stuff anymore. And all of us coming from a fallen state, you know what I mean? When most people are not coming from it, but all those who want to come from it, coming from a fallen state.
Okay, I heard you now. Yeah, it's like they don't. It's like that word doing and done. It's just they're not getting that word. That one little key word is like not hitting them. But I understand what you're saying.
And they don't want to. They don't want to hear the whole word. They want to judge you. They hate the light in you. They want to judge you, and so you don't owe them any explanation anyway. You don't owe anyone anything at all. You have nothing to give. So
yes, sir.
Don't feel like you owe anyone an explanation, because when you do your explanation, you're talking to the devil. And the devil don't want you to be free. The devil wants you enslaved. So just remember, don't try to prove anything. You don't owe anyone anything. Just don't resent.
All right. Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it, Jesse. I'm going to keep it quick, man. I appreciate it, man. You have a Merry Christmas, man. God bless you.
You too, Darren. Thank you. Amazing.
Amazing.
Nice. Super chat.
Super chats.
Greenwald with a diamond says, "Merry Christmas." That's right, not Happy Holiday.
That's right. Merry Christmas it ain't no happy. No. This ain't Cinco de Mayo. It's Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Someone bought a coffee. Jesse, first, thank you for your service. Second, could you please explain again how someone can get to the kingdom of God if they never read the Bible or hear someone talk about Jesus? God bless Bible thumpers and people with snake shirts.
In reference to hate.
Yeah, I'm wearing a snake shirt.
By realizing, pay attention to what's happening in you, and realize that this anger you have is hatred, and anyone has hatred playing God, and they're separated from God, and then forgive. If you never read the Bible, you'll be free. And if you read the Bible but didn't hold on to it, you could be free. But the kingdom of heaven is inside of you. Why are you stretching on TV? I mean, on camera.
Hassan used to go to just you when it was when you were talking by yourself.
Oh, but now he doesn't.
My bag.
But that's how you do it. Just by knowing the kingdom of heaven is inside of you and looking inside, you'll find it. Thank you.
Kabiko Joe, 67656, bought a coffee. My answer to the biblical question.
What does it mean to go to God in fear and trembling?
Fear and trembling is of the devil. So God told us to come to him when the devil is talking to us so he can save us.
That's it. Thank you.
By the way,
I'll put my little 2 cents and more to it.
Yeah, he's more to the super chat, but not to the answer.
Oh, okay. I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday. Thank you.
Jesse, thank you very much for helping me see the light. I have a long way to go, but I'm on my way, says Capico Joe, 67656.
Amazing. And don't think of it as a long way to go. Because if you think of it as a long way to go, then you have to think of it as a short way to go. I'm almost there. You know what I mean? You don't want to be divided. You want to become one. So leave this and that alone. Just stay present so that you can become one. You want to be whole. Thank you.
Shout out to the top contributors on D-Live, WD41, Greenwall, Potleaf, Kid Combo 1.0, Wolf 336, 440, Mopar, Thule Bear, and Rain Pipe. Thank you for the lemons, ice cream, diamonds, and yesterday's Ninjaginis. That's nice.
Amazing. Thank you.
And thank you, guys. I do believe that is all for now.
Amazing. Thank you all. Let me go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and talk to a first-time caller, Mario. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, you good, man. What's up?
All is well. Welcome to the show.
Man, Merry Christmas, man. I've been watching your videos on YouTube and TikTok, man. You the man. You the only dude that keeps it real.
Well, thank you, man. Merry Christmas to you.
Hell yeah, man. Shit. Hey, man, what do you think about the trannies, man? They get all the insurance money, man, and we can't even get a lick for nothing, man. I'm a working man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's some messed up shit. They get $30,000 or something, right?
Right, but you can't curse on the radio, but you're right.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, yeah, don't do it. But they don't care about American citizens. They don't care about us anymore.
What about the working man?
They don't care about
construction, man. What about they don't care about us no more. We paying all this money, food expense, everything, man.
That's right. That's why we have to fire them and hire men that are going to work for us and not against us.
That's right. That's right. Man, they taking money out of our pockets to give it to the bums that don't want to work, man.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
It is. They're even talking about giving more money to Ukraine and protect their borders and protect them while our borders is wide open and everybody and their mama coming in here.
Man, I got all types of taxes taken out of my paycheck, man. I'm living from paycheck to paycheck. You know, they got to change something, Jesse, you know.
Yeah.
I just want to give you, you keep it real out there, man. I just want you to keep doing the good work you do, bro.
Well, I appreciate that, Mario. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas. And
Merry Christmas,
and call me
man.
again.
I will. Merry Christmas, Jesse.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
My man.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you. Amazing. I'm out of time. I tried to get to as many calls as possible. Y'all saw that, right? Yeah, y'all did. And get news items and super chats and everything. Thank you all for your support. Remember, donate to Bond. It's a tax write-off. RebuildingTheMan.com or 800-411-BOND. But most of all, stay on that straight and narrow path. Do not be afraid to stand alone. Nobody can take this journey with you. Really. It's interesting how that is. It ain't going to work with nobody else along the way. So do the silent prayer, rebuildingtheman.com/prayer. rebuildingtheman.com/prayer. Forgive your mama and your daddy for not protecting you from your mama. And God will forgive you, and you'll wake up. And once you see, you can't unsee. All right? The Hake Report is coming up now. The HakeReport.com from 9 to 11. Then the American Anchor, baby, at 12 noon Pacific time. I'm out of time. Larry and the rest of the callers, call me back tomorrow if you can, or when you can. Have a good day, folks, and thanks for everything. Stand up. Stand up.
Check. I had to get on the track one time. Joel Friday here. Check. Look, stand up. Stand up, we got fighting to do. We gotta show him who boss. He put a Viking in you. He put that lightning in you. Igniting the truth. But you beg and blame and lie and hate and never wanna stand for the truth. So what you planning to do? You understand and to lose. You better go talk to your mama. Better stop at the drama. Better drop all the trauma. Boy, you better stand up and up. Put your hand up and hut. Cause if you don't, then we lose. And then we gotta hear the fake news. Whoa.
So you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause you must know thyself so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way.
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering, or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Other than sex, I wonder, why would a man even need a woman today? Women don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They're in competition with men. They don't want to be wives and mothers. Some want to get married, but they don't want to live in that proper position of life. Because the only purpose of marriage is to have a family. And that's been known forever. And so if you don't want to have children, there is no need to get married. And so I was wondering, why would a man even get married today? I never thought I'd see the day when women would come out of her natural role and be like a man. Even though she hate that role. When she was with a man that's weak, she hate him. But if he try to be strong, she'll stop it. I never imagined that. You're seeing good destroyed and abnormal is presented as normal.